Welcome back. Up next, it's my pleasure to be joined by Libby Dwayne Adams, Chief Advocacy Officer for Alteryx. Libby, thanks so much for joining us today. How's it going?
It's great, Billy. Thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to have this conversation on the topic of data upskilling. But, to start, how about you tell us about Alteryx and what it is you do there?
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about Alteryx as the really analytics automation company. We're focused on enabling every person to be able to transform data into a breakthrough, be able to use data as the assets that they are. Alteryx unifies analytics, data science, and really business process automation in one end-to-end platform that's accelerating digital transformation, really for the future of analytic process automation. We have customers and clients literally around the world of all sizes that are relying on Alteryx to deliver high impact business outcomes and also rapidly upskill their modern workforce.
So I'm glad you mentioned that upskilling point, because that's where I'd like to go in this conversation with you. And let's just start with it. Why is upskilling of data and analytics so important for, the government writ large?
Yeah, and when we talk about data, Billy, you know this and your audience knows this, that today there's over 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created every day. And data-driven insights are the main driver or should be the main driver for every business decision, and certainly are essential for discovering more efficient processes, reducing risk, and also finding new sources of revenue and better efficiencies. But what we're seeing is the ability to harness the power of data continues to be a challenge, just due to the ongoing shortage, yes, I said shortage, of data analytics to data science skills in the marketplace. And so that demand for these digital skills far outweighs what's available from a supply perspective in the market today. IDC estimates that by 2025, we'll have created more than 175 zettabytes globally of data. And so this is a problem that we here in North America and in the US really have to focus on as business continues to evolve and government agencies are moving fast and need to be able to find those fast solutions. It's no longer about being able to tolerate what knowledge workers can deliver in low strategic output legacy technologies. That's not going to work. That's not going to solve this problem. That sheer abundance of data and its growing complexities is what's going to require those skilled workers to be able to harness that power. And in public sector organizations, there's already a fierce competition for talent and for those resources, like classically trained data scientists. Those individuals are highly sought after. And so now our government friends are in competition with private sector for that data analytics talent. So the ability to leverage that existing talent and build those skills is critical for government agencies literally at all levels.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so you've given me the why, but what necessarily is the goal of upskilling?
Well, and it's interesting because the chief data scientist for the US Government Accountability Office has very clearly stated that what the goal is not. The goal is not to turn every data worker into a classically trained data scientist. That is not what is needed across our government organizations. It's really about creating a class of knowledge worker who understands the power of data to improve the outcomes of the work that they are delivering. And so while not every worker can become that data scientist or should become that data scientist, businesses are investing in upskilling of their employees to overcome this shortage and really building their own internal talent pool of data workers with those skills, the desire, and really the knowledge, or what I like to say, the context of the questions that are being asked. That's what's really going to be successful to create this data-rich environment and this data-driven culture. And these knowledge workers will have the context of the business question, as well as the insights of all of those data assets that could be used as part of the solve in the analytics process.
Sure, I think that's a great point. So Libby, tell me, what role does technology like Alteryx play in upskilling of data and analytics talent?
Yeah, by providing analytics solutions that upskill the information worker into really a data literate knowledge worker, these knowledge workers as individuals or as teams or as companies or as agencies can actually help drive these organizational transformations where you're leading with thinking about data, you're leading thinking of how we solve with data. And the Alteryx platform, our analytics technology platform, is enabling every level of data worker, regardless of their technical skills, to be able to create those breakthroughs by really democratizing data, automating key processes, and leveraging a full suite of analytic capabilities. And what I mean by that, Billy, is analytics is a continuum. And so when you think about the early parts of the continuum, as I like to start on the left side, it's about descriptive analytics, which is just tell me what the data tells me. And that's really descriptive or reporting on the data. But that continuum goes all the way along through predictive analytics, spatial analytics, and then onto prescriptive analytics and AI. And so in the analytic process, and you start to get into assisted modeling as well, it has to be able to be done in both a low-code environment for those people who may be an R or a Python coder, or a no-code environment for someone like myself that is not a coder, but I still understand the analytic process. And that's where Alteryx comes into play, as we're supporting both a low-code environment as well as a no-code environment. And all kinds of users, coders or non-coders, can use this analytics platform. And our goal or our aim is to create this open culture of learning where these teams can communicate and work together to solve these problems. And what we've seen over the years is that data analytics and data science are really very social experiences. Those best processes, those best results are enabling an exchange of ideas in these social settings. It's enabling a willingness to try new approaches. And so that's really, as an organization's existing data scientists really play such an important role in acting as coaches to all of these colleagues that are upskilling around analytics. And these data scientists can encourage them to think analytically and be able to ask the right questions of these data sets. And so when you've got that unified analytics platform like Alteryx, you're enabling collaboration, you're enabling learning, and you're enabling, most importantly, that sharing of insights that's going to fuel that upskilling process and that upskilling journey. Because by the way, it's a journey that never ends. So it's not like you get to a certain level and you're done. It's going to continue as data is going to continue to grow.
That makes sense. Libby, I wonder if you might be able to share some of the examples of how this ability to upskill is impacting organizations and individuals.
Yeah, actually, I'll start with an agency, the U.S. Census Bureau, that's been a partner of Alteryx for many, many years. But at the U.S. Census Bureau, there's a dedicated staff working on the production of key economic indicators that have to reduce or are enabling them to reduce manual processes, which then allows them to deploy those subject matter experts and leverage, again, vast amounts of unstructured data like satellite imagery to be able to improve the quality and the granularity of insights that they're delivering. Their ability to upskill, leverage new sources of data and automated processes are giving the U.S. Census Bureau that ability and the agility to be able to enable a continuous economic indicator program that's going to serve the agency not only now, but also well into the future. And their teams are very open about talking about when they're automating these processes, it's allowing them to get onto these higher value questions. And I'll share another quick story from actually a user that's been part of the Alteryx Sparked program. And I'll talk about Sparked in just a moment. But she, Leah Isabella, is actually a retired US Navy veteran and a graduate of our Sparked program. And she openly talks about, when I got out of the military, I had so many amazing skills, but I had no clear way of showing what she was capable of as an analytics thinker. And so she went forward to get certification in the Alteryx Sparked program. And now she has this clear understanding and this vision of what her analytics career post-military is now going to look like. And so that ability to see what you can do today as an analytics thinker and what that means from a career path perspective is really important, is important for all of these organizations and agencies, because they're looking for talent like Leah to be part of their teams, to be upskilling themselves, which are advancing the analytic processes of all of the agencies. So, and there's so many more stories, Billy. I could keep going on these use cases of where our customers in the government are having success, but I'll let you jump back to another question, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I really like that sense example. So, and I want to follow up. Why should, other U.S. federal agencies that maybe haven't taken this action be taking action now?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I think, first of all, it goes back to how we started the conversation. It's the volume and complexity of data, and that's only going to continue to grow. And agencies are going to need the talent availability to make the most of those insights of these data as they start to deliver across the enterprise, from everything for driving efficiencies and certainly to inform policy. And secondly, I'll say the push to modernize government technology, including the more than $1 billion allocated for funding through the Technology Modernization Fund, exhibits the commitment that the administration has to helping agencies modernize high priority systems, enhance digital services that are increasing access, equity, reducing fraud, and improving service delivery while accelerating collaboration and scalability. I think those are the things, as we're looking at a strong, unified analytics capability that's going to democratize data, automate processes, and upskill the resources, the people that are supporting these objectives. That's going to make this investment in analytics through the Technology Modernization Fund of really, really smart business decision for agency leaders.
That's awesome. Thanks for pointing that out. Libby, as we come to a close here in a second, you mentioned the Sparked program, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that and what that entails.
Yeah, we know that the upskilling and the enablement of analytic skills should not just be the responsibility of our government agencies, nor should it only be the responsibility of the private sector business community. We know that our responsibility as a technology company is really to close this divide that we see in the marketplace for digital capabilities. We applaud the administration, as well as both sides of the aisle, for prioritizing efforts to close that digital divide. And this begins with modernizing our nation's digital infrastructure by expanding access to high-speed broadband. But we also have to be able to emphasize the importance of both public and private sectors working together to close that gap. And so, as a global leader in data science and analytics automation, with our Sparked program, we're specifically putting our technology in the hands of schools, colleges, universities, as well as online programs for individual learners and students in the classroom, virtual or not, to be able to acquire the skills to launch a new career path and have that awareness of the importance of being able to work with data, because it's really about that ability for every worker to understand and be comfortable with working with data. And that is what our Spark program is specifically about. It's helping to skill up with no-cost renewable education licenses of the Alteryx software, plus faculty training, teaching tools, teaching resources and curriculum resources, and learning content for the students. All of that's available in our Spark program for free for any educator and for any learner. And so our mission is to be able to provide learners of all types, of all ages, of all skill levels with the knowledge to be able to question, understand, and solve with data. And today we already have literally hundreds of universities across the US that are teaching with Alteryx in their business analytics, their data science programs. And so now the ability, our requirement is how do we keep scaling that so that any student of any age level is learning about the importance of data and data insights as a way of life and solving.
That's great. That's so great of you guys. So let's wrap up. We've kind of run the gamut in terms of data upskilling and touched on a lot of different things, but I'd love if you could just tie it all together, any closing thoughts you might have.
Yeah, and I'll say, Billy, that it's critical for every organization and every government agency to invest in their people, invest in upskilling. And when I talk about people, it's literally any age, any gender, any background, so that there's a diverse group of people that can learn these vital data skills and progress their own careers, because their progression is going to help all of those businesses and all of those agencies. And this is also enabling those organizations, businesses, and agencies to recruit new individuals who don't necessarily only have an academic background or specific coding skills, but it's encouraging that more diverse range of applicants, building a stronger team with diverse talent, diverse learning experiences that's going to create better insights through those analytic processes. And it's amazing as we hear our customers openly talk about their own successes of upskilling. One of our customers is an apparel organization called Gymshark, and they openly talk about the fact that they've been able to expand faster, even during COVID, because they were able to provide these individuals, their teams, with easier learning skills and skill sets. New hires now have the ability to come in and hit the ground running as they start out with Alteryx, even though they're not a data analyst by training, because they've created these environments of easy learning and also creative thinking. And so that, I would have to say, is really the bottom line, or the power of analytic automation with Alteryx, is the empowerment of people and the empowerment of the humans to work together. So thank you very much for the conversation.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. And thank you as well. It's been a very insightful and very uplifting and encouraging to hear all the great progress in upskilling of data that is out there and will be coming to the federal government. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day.
You too.